Joe Biden, of course, entered the race yesterday, so we all can rejoice. Biden, who first became a senator in 1973, that's 46 years ago. He's held political office continuously over that entire time, except for the last 2 years, and now he wants to be president. And I think that's enough reason to reject him. There are other reasons too, all the other stuff, bad policies, the creepiness, all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't even need to enter into the conversation. The fact is that Biden is an almost 77-year-old man who's had his hands on the reins of power for half a century. And I think we just say, that's enough, Joe. Let someone else take a turn. How about that? Why don't you let someone else get a shot at this thing? It's 50 years, about 50 years. That's enough time. You really don't need to go beyond that. So I think that's kind of all you need to know about him. And I'm not going to go into I'm not going to get into a lot of inside baseball analysis of Joe's campaign rollout and his prospects and everything, mostly because I don't care that much. But I will say that, I will say just a couple of brief things. Number one, President Trump really needs to up his nicknaming game because it's fallen off, I think, sharply over the last year. And that's a pretty concerning development, especially when pretty much his whole strategy, Trump's whole strategy against his opponent is just to nickname them. So if you're gonna put all your eggs in that basket, you better really come with the big guns, which he did in 2016. But I don't know. Recently, so he's going with Sleepy Joe. That's his nickname for Joe Biden. Now I like that nickname. I like the sound of it. It kind of sounds like maybe the sort of nickname that a mediocre baseball player might have earned in 1912. The shortstop of the Yankees in the early 20th century, Sleepy Joe. That's old Sleepy Joe over there. But it doesn't work for Biden because Biden isn't known for sloth necessarily. He's not known for being sleepy or low energy. It's not really, it's not going to click because that's not what we know him for. Yeah, he's old, but so is Trump. I mean, they're close enough in age to have attended the same high school at the same time, basically. That's how close back in the 14th century. So Sleepy Joe doesn't work. Creepy Joe is much better. You're going with Sleepy Joe. Meanwhile, you've got Creepy Joe just there for the taking. Much more on brand, much more devastating, much more embarrassing for Joe Biden. It seems like Trump's nicknames have gotten sleepy, ironically enough. Now, in terms of Biden's prospects, in the general election, I think his prospects are pretty good. The latest poll had him up by like 8 points over Trump. You decide whether to trust that poll or not. But I don't think Trump has to worry about it because even if he's polling over Trump, he's not going to make it through the Democratic nomination process. He's not going to be nominated. The fact is the Democrat Party has gone so far left so fast that they've escaped Earth's gravity at this point, and they're hovering somewhere over Europa or something like that. Despite what the polls may say, I don't think that a guy like Joe Biden, old and white and vaguely centrist, has a chance of winning the nomination in the modern Democratic Party. I think a person like that could win in the general in a landslide, potentially, but he couldn't make it through the gauntlet of the Democratic nomination process in the first place in order to get to that point because he's going to be eaten alive, and we're going to see that play out over the next few weeks. Here is, I think, in my opinion, let me describe a candidate who could win 75 million votes in this country, I think. This would be a candidate who is pro-abortion only up until 20 weeks, pro-gay marriage, pro-welfare, non-interventionist, pro-gun, pro-immigration enforcement, pro-free speech, critic of police brutality and police excesses, not perceived as racist, but also not an SJW. Okay? Now, I would not vote for such a candidate because I disagree with a number of the positions I just outlined there. So I'm not saying that this is a candidate I want to vote for. I'm saying that I think that is where America is right now, that they would go for someone like that. That combination of positions would actually stand a chance of attracting sizable numbers of people from both sides, from both parties. And it's more of a leftist, more liberal platform. And it's if any party is going to put forward a candidate with that selection of positions on the issues, then it would be the Democrats, but they're not going to do it anymore.